Fatima outside of Knock, and then we came to live in Seatown. And my father was there, but not for as many years as we would have liked him to be there for Paddy Kirk. I noticed in my birth cert, I was checking it, that in those days they asked for the rank or the profession or the job of the father. Yeah. So he was described as a blacksmith, which he was a blacksmith, who worked in the GNRB. That was the Great Northern Railway Board at that time. It was described so, and part of that became CIE. And I know Maud's father Jimmy worked with my father, and Grandad Jimmy, as I got to know him. And Jimmy went to the CIE, and my father went to the different engineering ends of it, where they were through. And they were my mother, so they knew me all those at the start of the years. And then to welcome as well, when we go in an easy way. The extended family then with Peter and with Anne is Joan, who's here at the top table. Yes, very sophisticated with her spritzer that she's been drinking where it's going through it. We had invited the third three together here. Jason really couldn't make it. Sarah's in London, but it's great to have Stephen and Sonia here along the way. It's great to have you here. So we welcome then the next family is the family that myself and Mary had with Grania and Dara. And the thing about Grania and Dara, what I just say firstly is, and Mary would have liked me to say as well, how very proud that we both are and how I am. So likewise, the family in Seatown and Fatima was around the 20-year family. Mary's involvement has been around the 40-year. And Mary, in fact, was actually one of my staff. That lasted for 1 year. Then we got to know and get involved in we got to know each other outside of work and found a bond, and we got married. Although Mrs. Kinnan, Laura Mercer, Nora's not here today, she described famously at one stage that Jerry Kirk and Mary Kate was a flash in the pan. so 37 years later, we're still about that. And there's a lovely coincidence, I've said to people here, a lovely coincidence, that was in this very room that myself and Mary had our wedding breakfast. It was still called a wedding breakfast. Those 37 years ago. In fact, most people who were there on the day are actually, the people in the room here are still, and Thomas was on the way. Anna was here. No, she was here with the 5 boys. And poor Aidan, who's sitting next to her there. Aidan was the youngest, and he's still the youngest Aidan. So Aidan's outfit, if I described to you, was black patent shoes with white knee socks. This in the middle of summer, white knee socks. And he had a pair of trousers on him, pulled so tight up in the style of the day. Anybody who watches football in those days, footballers wore the tight shorts as well. But it's great that Anna, and we had in those days, Ignatius was here with us on that day. Sadly passed away. And most important for all the boys here, that Jared was here. And just on that wedding team, we had an announcement just around the time of my birthday that Richie went the original way and asked for my hand, our bride. He had a hard job because I just kept talking about it. He was trying to get to ask the question.
Save some material for the speech on the wedding.
The link with this room goes back as well. And in fact, the ring Richard was going to use, I sort of proposed to Grania, was a ring that our granny Nora had, and Mary had stopped wearing it for the years, the ring. And in fact, Damien was able to fill us in even more. On the week that Richard proposed to Grania, Nora would have been 100 years of age. She was still alive. It was her 100th birthday. So it was a nice thing. So the ring is still getting favoured at the moment. And so I think anybody who has a drink in front of them, I just want to first of all wish Richie and to welcome you to the family, Richie, and congratulations.
I better sit down for this.
Thank you. There's no going back now, boy.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers, Dad. Cheers, Dad.
Cheers.
Thanks, Jerry. Thank you.
Richie.
Thank you.
So no, it's not over. We already had the bloody welcomes. Yeah. So we get to the families. I was talking to Anna's family, Damien's family, a very, very important family to us. Hugely important when our kids were growing up. They were always welcome in the house, and they know that welcome is still there. And when we'd be saying prayers at night, you'd have Damien and Maud and Fiona and Orla. And remember, Dara particularly, he was happy with that. That was doable. Now, going back to the Cooley boys, he got fierce. Ger, Anna, Brennan, Ed, Einafon, even his full name. So eventually they just got truncated to the Cooley crowd. So I'd like particularly to welcome the Cooley crowd here. Yeah, so we're all, it's just settling into it. I mentioned as well, I say on a table today, we said to people who are not here because they're gone from us. So there's a little, I think a nice phrase is always used, but, and we'll give a little toast as well, just as we call them, to all the absent friends.
Absent friends. Absent friends. Cheers. Cheers. Cheers.
Because everybody in their own life, there's mums and dads and brothers and sisters have gone, so it's now, we'll now start at the beginning. This is only the start now. But we started. I was born on the 4th of February 1955. A miracle child, described as a miracle baby. Miracle baby. And my mother said if it wasn't for the prayers that were said to St. Gerard, I wouldn't be here today. Now, what St. Gerard, who was a lay celibate Italian brother, ended up being the patron saint of pregnant women. I don't know. Like what he knew about them, I don't know. But he still has it. Although I did notice in St. Gerard's Novena, I remember the old painting we'd had of St. Gerard. He was a really holy wee man, very, very fit on the way. The last one I saw in St. Gerard's Novena looked like a blooming stud. Here he was, putting this stuff on the thing below. So he's through. Now, they said at the time and at that time there was never an epidural was used at that stage. They hadn't got that injection. But as some people have said to me in years gone, in fact they must have used a gramophone needle, because there's one thing I'm not sure of is being able to talk. So we're talking about those early days. And in Fatima, where we were reared up, I did one thing. I became a member of a band at 3.5 years of age. 3.5 years of age, with Liam Riley of Bagatelle fame and Eurovision fame along the way. And one of the songs we had was the actual national anthem. But we only knew a bit of it. But we had the first bit completely right, Shana Fianna Fáil. But then we had a toffee apple Erin. The toffee apple doesn't appear in the original. So carrying on the Fatima routine, at that stage in school, God mercy, when we were in school, we used to collect for the black babies. And it wasn't seen as any race or anything, we collect for the black babies. And there was a bit of confusion happened that there was a collection for the black babies, and it was a raffle to win me when I moved from Fatima. See, I was the prize in a raffle. But the only and only time, would anybody here buy a ticket for me as the prize in the raffle? But the guy that won the raffle was hugely disappointed, because he thought he was getting a black. And he got me. He got confusion in Fatima and the black babies. Now, a few coffees and teas there. At the minute, have you? If you want to roll, yeah, roll out. Go ahead. I'm used to being a company with things. So we then go. We're talking about the Dundalk growing up. Football became very important, because anybody who has young boys in their house or older boys in the house became very, very important. And the first love I had in football was Dundalk FC. First up, and it would be, remember myself and Peter, he was smaller than me, and my father would bring us up. Not only would we go to the games on a Sunday, which were the League of Ireland games, but occasionally we'd go up on a Saturday, which were the B games, where the second team were playing the games. And as I said, he went too early in our footballing lives, but a couple of people took up the cudgels. We had friends of the family in different ways. There was Mark McComish used to come down and bring us up, an uncle of ours, and it was Brian McKeever, who was a neighbour, and with a phenomenal knowledge of the Dog Football Club. So as I said, that kept it true. I very early on got hooked to Liverpool FC. And I know that doesn't run with everybody here, young Richie. Yeah, that tells me, I have to say it anyway, I had set a rule to Grania for 30 years, that there was never to be a Man United supporter crossing the door. But then I realised I was cutting our chances down by about 60% of the young male population. So I had to drop that rule, and I think she got a gem when she picked it. She got a gem.
Thank you, Gary. Even though he's a man. Thank you.
Now, so the Liverpool FC became a huge big thing. What I loved about Liverpool Football Club at the time was the noise, the sheer noise of the cop and the crowd and everything that they did in it. And I was lucky to go to some great games over the years. I went for years and years to games, until, including FA Cup finals, including European Cup finals, all great games. And then on one particular day, I found myself with my pal who couldn't go to the game. There was a cup final in Wembley, and Jerry Kinnan here accompanied me on the basis that we didn't know we had tickets, but I didn't want any grief if we didn't get the tickets. And we could tell everybody at home that we bloody did get the tickets, even if we didn't get them. So Jerry was there. It was a horrible day, very unusual for a cup final, and it was a horrible day because bloody well, Eric Cantona scored with a few minutes to go to win the cup for United. So it was a huge record that I had until that day. But if I was to be there and lose the record, I couldn't ask for a better company, Jerry. He smiled the whole evening long. I don't know why. He smiled the whole evening long, and he left his credit card behind the bar. That was success on all those grounds. So we come up to the World of Work. Now I'm not going to go into the whole World of Work details here, because as you all know, I've set my maybe you don't know, I've set my retirement date for the 30th of April. And that essentially is a sort of a work gig, that's work friends and work colleagues are all along with it. So in a way we're celebrating my retirement on the way. So another toast to my retirement. Oh, missing a toast there. We're at least 5 minutes without a toast. So you're not going to have to listen to that whole work stuff. That's the work stuff truth. Yeah. Now, another thing for including everybody in the audience here. You're all invited to Grania and Richie's wedding next year. Is that the first invitation? Everybody! Something for everybody in the audience.
And you're paying, Jerry?
You don't have to send it. It saves you the cost of the stamp on the envelope, Richie. Saves you the cost of it. So that thing, I think the plan is that it's during 2016 we'll have the wedding. Whether that be early, I have to discuss with Gordon and Richie. We have to make sure if Ireland qualify for the European Championships, I know where I'll be in June.
Yeah, forgot about that.
Liverpool win the Premier League.
I'm Liverpool win the Premier League, but I know.
Late July we'll be up with it.
No, it's all about. I'm going to use the party in my retirement speech at work. I know my things. The other interest that I developed in later years was watching Louth football. And watching Louth particularly a few times in a decade at the Kensington Park with some great times. And I know your hero, Maeve and Brennan would be there with people. I'd be there with people. All Louth people would get behind it. And I always said that I'd love one of three things, or certainly the three things to happen. And one was that Louth would win a Leinster Championship. And my view on that day in 2010 was that Louth did win the Leinster Championship in 2010, except for a referee decision. So I still say I enjoyed that day. Almost, I just obliterate the last thing. So when I'm rewriting history, I have to rewrite history from work as well. I won't take it into that. I'm going to rewrite the Bible from work. Because the poor old tax collector gets gathered up with unmentionable people in various parts of the Bible.
You get them in massive taxes.
I should have made it clear already that heckling is welcome, because so the other one was that Liverpool would win the Premiership, having last one in 1990, and they were so close last year. Poor old Stevie G with his slip at the game against Crystal Palace, but it could have been. It was great. It was as far as sort of storage eternity. But the third one was that Dundalk would win the in Ireland after the last one in 9 years ago. And Dundalk. So come on the turn. Come on the turn.
They can't toast that.
Richard, there won't be as many toasts during the Father of the Bride speech. Incidentally, I have the Father of the Bride speech ready for 4 years. And
This is the wrong name.
No, you should change it. It's cut and paste, Peter. Cut and paste. But there wasn't even anybody on the scene at that stage. I just got inspiration in a couple of days and put the whole Father of the Bride speech in. So I know girls are always worried, what's my father going to say? It's all nervous. Nervous me arse. Just say it. So that's in the book. So I can do a ready of that at some other at your choosing. You can go through that, and I'd be mostly nice, and there'd be less toast, Richie. Because in a wedding you'd be expecting to put a new drink for every toast. We're getting away with bucket orange juice and water. So they toast it away. So that comes through the whole I go through. The important thing for everybody, and it's like coming back to the 30 with Mary and Maud today, is I'm retiring thankfully in good health.